What's up, y'all? It's your girl August, and welcome to Soul Food Sundays. Today we're gonna be making some Southern fried cabbage. All right, I got all my ingredients right here, and we're gonna go over them. So, of course, I have the cabbage, and I'm using a small head of cabbage. Okay, I didn't make a big thing because it's just my husband and I in the house, so I don't need a ton of food. A small cabbage, as you see, it makes a lot of cabbage. Okay, you just chop that up. Boom. Then we have our bacon and our smoked andouille sausage. Some people use only the bacon, but I like to add the smoked andouille sausage to give it that nice smoky flavor. And also, I like to eat this as a meal in itself. I know that's a little controversial. Is it a side? Is it a main? I like to eat it as a main. So, adding some extra meat in it makes it a little bit more hearty as well. And I like the bacon because the drippings is what we're gonna cook most of this in, and also adds a little bit of saltiness to the dish. For seasonings, I'm only using a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. We have our aromatics here, such as garlic, and we also have some peppers and onions. And all of this combined is gonna make a real good flavor profile. So you do not need to over season. And most Cajun seasonings have a bunch of seasonings in it. And I had this covered because the onions, they burn your girl's eyes, okay? We have some chicken broth. This is gonna steam the cabbage while it's cooking and make it really nice and soft. And it also has salt and flavor in it. And then we have some butter here. Butter is optional, but I like to add butter because it makes it a little creamy and it brings everything together. Now that we went over all our ingredients, let's get to cooking. All right, so I preheated my pan over medium heat, and you want to use a pretty large or medium-sized pan for this. I'm going in with the sausage and the bacon. Put that in there. No oil needed because it's gonna render a lot of fat. And we're just gonna cook the bacon to your desired crispiness and brown the sausage at the same time. Kind of just stir it around for a little bit in the beginning so it doesn't get stuck to the pan. And then I'm just gonna let it sit for a little bit and then continue to stir. And I turn my heat down to medium just so it doesn't burn, right? You really wanna get a nice brown on the sausage and some crispiness with the bacon. And we're not looking to cook the sausage all the way through here. It's okay if it's not cooked all the way through. You just want it to be browned. And then we're gonna add this in later on in the dish and it'll continue to cook then. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. You see the sausage is starting to get a nice color. We're just gonna stir this around. We want that bacon to get crispy as well. This is exactly what we're looking for. Now I'm just gonna keep stirring this like occasionally now, a little bit more frequently actually, so everything crisps up really well. I personally don't like my bacon super crispy, but you can cook it to however you want it to be. All right, so now our sausage is browned and our bacon is nice and crispy, as you can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this from the pan. And take your time when you're doing this. Okay, just set it aside. Put it on a plate, a bowl, whatever you have. And I like to turn the heat to medium-low when I'm doing this, just so I don't have to move so quickly. Okay, and you can use a slotted spoon so the grease drips right back into the pan, or you can use a regular spoon like I'm doing and just kind of drain the grease off to the side. Okay, now you want to have at least about 2 tablespoons of grease left over in the pan, which I do have here, so I don't have to soak any up. But if it's a bunch of grease, you might want to remove just a little bit of it so the dish isn't too greasy. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the heat back up to medium, and we're gonna add in our peppers and onions. I forgot to put the butter. I usually put the butter first and let that melt, but it's okay. We're cooking at home, Sometimes you have to make, you know, sudden improvisations. You have to improv. I'm forgetting the word, but anyways, just throw that all up in there and stir it around. And we're gonna let this cook for about 5 minutes until the onions become a little translucent and soft, and then we'll continue on to the next step. So you see how the brown bits on the bottom is coming right off? This is fine. So about 5 minutes have passed. We're gonna go ahead and add in some of our minced garlic and stir this around for about 30 seconds. This really opens up the aromas from the garlic and allows it to not burn. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add in my cabbage. And I like to do this in increments. I like to let the cabbage down just a tiny bit first before I add the other half of the cabbage. Okay, and you wanna continuously stir this. Okay, so a couple minutes have passed. We're gonna put in the remaining cabbage. And then I'm gonna sprinkle on our seasoning. Give that a good toss. And we're gonna keep stirring and cooking this for about 10 minutes. So what I like to do is just let it sit for a couple minutes, then I'll go ahead and stir it again, then keep repeating that for 10 minutes. Okay, so about 10 minutes have passed, and this is what our cabbage is looking like. It's getting softer. All the seasonings are combined together well. So now I'm gonna go in with my chicken broth. I'm just gonna add in that. Okay, stir it up. And we're gonna let this cook for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna turn up the heat to medium high, and you want it to come to a nice, you know, little simmer, and let that cook. And this is gonna really steam the cabbage up. And you don't wanna cover it because you don't want the cabbage too soft. We just want it, you know, to still have a little nice bite to it and to steam a bit, but you don't want it too soft. So let that sit for about 5 minutes. Okay, so about 5 minutes has passed. You see that liquid has pretty much evaporated and our cabbage is pretty soft now. We're gonna go ahead and add in our bacon and sausage. Okay. Oh yeah. Now that's a meal. We're gonna stir it up a little bit and let this cook for an additional few minutes just so the sausage gets warmed up again and is cooked all the way through. And then we'll be done. All right, y'all, there you have it. Some good old Southern fried cabbage. Look at that. I can't wait to tear this up. The full written recipe is on my blog. The link is in the description. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Support your girl, okay? I told y'all there's food at home.